here's a really difficult question. Was this, Jehan, a necessary cost, you feel? Because that certainly is the argument of some, that without this cost, huge, bloody, regrettable as it may have been, you wouldn't have got to this position and you wouldn't have been able to imagine or envision a future.
In a way, I do see the government's position. In 2005, it was very shocking, the way in which the LTT started to ambush the troops. Yeah. They repeatedly ambushed them, and they claimed that it is actually not them, but the people who are ambushing, which was all nonsense. So the government's military response, in a way, was inevitable. It had to take action, especially when the LTT then went and started capturing new territories. If it went to war on the basis of a just political solution, which it came up with, and which it said it was prepared to stand by, then I believe the cost of this war could have been reduced a lot. And perhaps the LTT could have been brought back to the table. I'm not saying for a moment that the LTTE building up their arms capacity and weapons and submarines was correct. That was wrong, and that had to be corrected, because the government could not, no government can let another entity just build up its store of arms. Yeah. And I think that was a weakness in the previous peace process. But we must also recognize that it was because of that peace process that, in a way, that paved the way for the government's military victory through the breakup of the LTT in the East. So basically the point being that if the government did come up with the political reform, it tried to address the root cause, even while it was conducting its military campaign, I think the cost could have been lowered.
Is it a question of sequencing? Are you hopeful that it might occur now, even though it hasn't occurred in parallel to the war or preceding it?
It must happen. I mean,
that was not my question. Are you hopeful?
It's a big question mark, because so far the government has not shown the sensitivity and the willingness to concede that the Tamil people have a very just political cause behind them, that they have a just cause in that they should have more political power to decide for themselves, to maintain their cultural identity, to govern themselves, to have autonomy in the areas in which they are a majority. I'm not talking about a separate country, I'm talking about a united Sri Lanka, a strongly united Sri Lanka, but in which all our people have the right of self-determination within the framework of a united Sri Lanka, in the same way that in our individual homes, we all have the right of self-determination. That is what I mean, that we, in our own homes, we do not want others to come and decide for us. We decide for ourselves. We must apply that principle. It's called the principle of subsidiarity, on which the European Union now has been based. That is the type of thinking we need in our country if we are to have a better future.
Jehan, thank you very much for joining us on this program, and I also wish you all the very best in your personal writing and work, and also that of the councils. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.